All right, it's all done.
Welcome back to Cabin View Ventures. So the garden is really coming along nice. Everything is growing well. We're gonna get a really nice harvest out of that garden this year. So really excited about that. You just saw me finish up one of these firewood totes. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. I'm gonna build a third one. I wanna show you guys how I do it. I've kind of perfected them the way that I wanna use them. So this one that we just finished up is wrapped in chicken wire. When I build this one here, we're gonna have 3 skids, all with similar framing, which is the bulk of what we're talking about today, how I'm framing these things, because when you frame it this way, you can wrap them any way you want. Now, don't get me wrong, I would much rather prefer metal totes. I just have a hard time finding them where I live, especially for a decent price. Anything with, a clean bladder in it are selling for around $100 a piece. You can find ones that had, mulch dye in them, or, other hazardous materials, you can call it. You'll find them for around $60 a piece, but then you're stuck with having to get rid of that bladder, which is not that easy to do. At least I haven't found a way to get rid of them yet. So these wooden ones, they cost me right around $50 in materials for the lumber, whatever you're going to use to wrap it with, and any hardware that you need to get for it. So before we get into that, we are right at our 1-year mark for being on YouTube. And I just want to give all you guys that have been following this channel for a little while a shout out. We appreciate you all being here. This has kind of grown to a point that we weren't really expecting it to, at least in a 1 year's time frame. A lot like our firewood business. Our firewood business that I started last year has really grown quite a bit, to the point where we're almost struggling to keep up. So if you're new to the channel, if you've been following us for a while and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We post videos about once a week, but we are here to stay now. So I feel it's kind of nice hitting that 1-year point, seeing some success with the channel, and kind of having a vision of where we want to go with it. So right now, you're going to see a lot of firewood content, because we're trying to almost catch up, put together a better process for the firewood business and how we process our wood, and make things a little more time efficient. So firewood content, equipment content, we've got a lot of equipment that we use around here. We live in a log house on just over 7 acres of wooded property. So a lot of property maintenance, some log home maintenance. So if you're into outdoor living, firewood, and equipment, I think you'll enjoy some of the content that we provide. Now, like I say, right now, I think I'm getting about 1 video out a week. We would like to do a little bit more, but I have a full-time job. I have a busy family life. So it's actually been tough to dedicate more time to the channel than what I'm doing right now. And with the firewood business too, we are just kind of go all the time. We have very little downtime, but I really want to find a way to make this firewood business more successful than it is, and encouraged by the growth of both the firewood business and the YouTube channel. So thank you guys again. All right, let's get into the content for today. So we talked a little bit about how I'm gonna build this tote up. Let me give you a closer look at this one and explain it a little bit farther. All right, so the skids we're working with are both 48 by 48, not your typical 48 by 40. They're nice, heavy, solid skids, so these make a really good platform for how I want to build these. Now, the framing is what I've come up with that works well for me, and it makes it a nice design where you can build this a lot of different ways. But with this framing, you have a nice, solid frame around this skid. It's supported from every angle. You don't need any top plate to tie anything together. So what I've done is I have runners, pressure treated runners underneath of the skid, and they stick out 1.5 inches on each side. It gives me a nice platform, a nice level platform to put these corner supports on. So we've got our 4 corner supports, our 4 verticals, and then you don't even necessarily need the middle depending on what material you're using, but the top plate and the bottom plate are what tie everything together and give you that support. Same thing in the back. So now you're tied together really nice from every direction, so you don't have a loose frame that wants to fall in on itself, especially when you pick it up with a lot of weight in it. Now in the front, to keep it open, we have the 2 corner supports, and that gives us all the vertical support we need, or the horizontal support we need to tie that front together. So now you've got a nice open platform, easy to load, easy to unload, and like I said a couple times now, you can wrap these any way you want. We've got one, actually it's out front right now, I just unloaded it. That one has some leftover fencing from our garden. This one I wrapped in chicken wire, which I don't think I'm gonna do that again. The chicken wire was a little easier to wrap around, but you need a lot of staples in here to hold it on well. And it took a lot of time to nail all those staples in. So I would either go with a heavier fencing, like some kind of garden fencing, where you can cut out a whole panel and just tack it right on there a lot faster. What we're gonna do today for this skid, we're gonna do the whole thing out of wood. So I'm actually gonna build it just like this, but we're gonna have 2 more 2x4s along the bottom, 1 more along this top, and should give us you know, enough spacing where none of the logs are falling out as we stack them in or throw them in there. So let's get started. All right, first thing we're gonna do is flip this over and get those runners put on here. This gives us a nice base to put the skid on, keeps it off the ground. So it's gonna help this last a whole lot longer. I'm hoping we can get through as much of this as possible. There's a lot of thunder in the background. The sky's looking pretty nasty. So we'll see how far we get. Pretty good. Get one corner down, get this one in, and then we'll tack the rest of this down. really nice if you have a wood mill. You can almost make these whole things for free. The skid, these wooden skids, you can really find these things free almost anywhere. They're one of those things people are always looking to just get rid of. Oh, there's some lightning. Here comes the rain. All right, guys, we're gonna take a little storm break, and we will be back in a little bit. All right, guys, we're back. It's the next day. So that first storm rolled in right around 6 o'clock, and it just stormed all night long. So we're in this like 2-week period right now of high temperatures and high humidity. To give you an example, like right now, it's noontime and it's 90-degree air temperature and 100-degree real feel. So when it feels 10 degrees hotter than it actually is, it's way too high humidity, and it zaps your will to want to do anything. So we're pushing through though, pushing through and staying hydrated. And it's actually a good motto for life right there. So we got the runners put on the bottom of this skid. Now we're gonna flip this thing over and frame it up. All right, we need our 4-foot pieces. We're just going to measure and mark off a couple lines where our bottom supports are going to go. All right, we jumped ahead a little bit. I wanted to spare you guys the layout and all the measuring and cutting. I did get this one side done, but you're gonna watch me do these next two. So what I have here for measurements, again, this is a 48 by 48 skid. These corners are 48 inches tall. That skid is about 5 inches tall. So, you know, we've got just over 3.5 feet of height from the bottom of that skid to the top of this 2x4 here. The bottom, the side of the skid, measures about, this was 47 3/4. So not quite 48 inches on each side. So again, this 2x4, these corners are 48 inches. All these side supports are 47 3/4. And then with this one, the bottom spacing came out to about 2 5/16 of an inch, and then these top two spaces are about 6 inches. You can do this however you want, whatever material you want. I'm just showing you how I'm doing mine. You don't have to lay out the back, because the back we can just copy right off of those 2x4s. I'll show you when we do it. Saves you a little bit of time. So all I had to do was lay out each side, and then the back we're just gonna trace off of the 2x4s we put in from the sides. But I have these all laid out. I have the boards prepped and ready to go on. So let's get them up. Okay, sides on. Now we can just take our square .
Good. That's what we gotta do, is put the corner supports on. Right. These are 30 inches long. I think I cut these at 30 inches. Just put a 45-degree angle on them. Good to go. Pretty easy. Right there's the spot. Right in. Try to get these pretty nice. And that gives us a nice, sturdy front corner. All right, guys, so there we go. We've got two skids, exactly the same size, framed up very similar, just different siding on each one. We've got 2x4s siding this one, we've got chicken wire siding this one, and we've actually got a third one that has some garden fencing on it. So now I'll be able to see which one holds up the best, probably the 2x4 one, as long as nothing falls through it. And they're definitely a little faster to make and about the same price. So you're really spending the same in materials, whether you're buying 2x4s or you're buying fencing or some kind of chicken wire. So, but these are good sized skids. They're gonna hold a whole lot of wood, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So that's gonna wrap things up. I'm drenched, it's super hot. I'm gonna go get a nice cold drink and just relax for a little bit. Hopefully it cools down tonight and we can get some splitting done. But thanks for being here, guys, and I will see you on the next one.